now that we've been given, essentially. Government has a zero carbon target, 2050, which we can't meet because it's based on assumptions that aren't real. So we probably have 10 or 15 years at best to mitigate the effects of 2-degree climate change, which is reasonably catastrophic, and we have to do something. If not to make a difference to whether it gets better or not, but for the fact that we have a 7-year-old daughter who has to live through it. I do like the idea of being self-reliant for this stuff. A lot of the power in this country is coming from coal and gas, and the coal station's being wound down. There's no new nuclear coming on stream, even if people really wanted it to. And we've been told that in the next 20 years we've got to do without fossil fuels, basically. Well, for power we would have solar, lots of solar panels here, and we have a wind turbine as well, and that's enough to get us through the whole year. We couldn't manage with one or the other, but between the two of them, it's usually either sunny enough or windy enough to keep the batteries charged and to keep the lights on. Kind of commonly people say to us, oh, solar's no good in this country. And it's nice to be able to say, well, actually it is. And, a surprising number of people come and have a look, and then they're like, oh, you can do this. And once they see it, they think, oh, I could go and do this myself. So a lot of what we're doing is trying to convince other people that, yeah, you can do it, and it is a good idea.
It's getting there slowly, yeah. Getting better at growing vegetables, just getting the time to do it now. But the orchards are maturing now, we're getting good crops from those. And the hedgerows are maturing, so you can use all the hedgerow things, and planting more, always planting more. We always had a plan for other places, and every so often I go back to the book that I wrote all my notes in and say, where have I got to on my book? And yeah, it's good to revisit what I was thinking of at the time and see how it's working now.
Everyone has this desperate urge to be tidy, but the problem we have, and the problem pollinators have, whether it's bees or whether it's flies or whatever it is that the whole countryside is being tidied. There just aren't these wild areas, and you used to get these in headlands or fields and odd corners that people left alone where this stuff would grow, and it's just not there anymore. And then added to the problem of herbicides and pesticides that are used in agriculture affecting bees, for instance, it's hammering their numbers completely. So part of our system is allowing bits like this, but it's just keeping that balance between the things for them and things for us. So now I don't like there's loads of nettles growing. You'll see lots and lots of nettles growing in the bushes here, and the temptation is to go and cut them all down because that's what we've done. But you look, and then there's ladybirds all over them, and the ladybirds are eating our aphids, and so I just let them be. Unless it's somewhere I need to actually clear to grow a bit of food, or I need it as a path, then generally we just let it all do its thing.
The main thing I find I can grow stuff, but it's keeping it and preserving it is the thing. And growing stuff that we actually eat. So with the tomatoes, we try and make a lot of passata, which is very, very simple. We just keep jars throughout the year for various things. And I'm still reusing a few from like 4 years ago. I don't think we're ever going to be 100%. But there is a lot of stuff here you can forage as well. There's a guy called Stephen Barstow who lives in Norway, and he knows all the different plants and stuff, and I'm kind of weeding, thinking, I'm sure I can eat that, and I probably shouldn't be weeding that, but yeah, if I'm desperate, I have food here.
No, go back in there, you daft beggars. That's it. In nature, there are no kind of vegetarian systems. Animals are part of everything. They're eating, which means that they're also pooing, which means that they're fertilizing the ground. And chickens especially, they're scratching and they're turning over the ground all the time. So we can put them on an area that, say it's been weedy or we're preparing it, and they'll eat the grass down and they'll dig it over and then they'll poo in it and fertilize it, and then we can come along, tidy that up and plant into it. Yeah, we know they've had a good life. That's the most important thing, animal welfare. Our food is prepared in the garden. There's no food miles attached to it. The footprint of these animals is tiny compared with a commercial animal. Again, we know what they've been fed all their lives as well, you know. Come on.
A few years ago, I thought I had a broccoli pest. There was just bits of broccoli missing all along, and then I realised it was one height. And I came out and I realised it was lyre height. She's just been going around each plant at mouth level. And just whatever she could reach with her mouth, she's been chewing it off when she was about 2. She's funny because we haven't really been anywhere big. She thinks like Bangor's really big. That's like a city to her. Like even Rathfarn's a city sometimes. No, I don't think she's missing out. I think when she's older and she gets more into, I don't know, teenage things or something, she'll probably be like, why do I live so far from everything and stuff? But sure. I think that Lara will hopefully understand where her food comes from and be able to grow her own food and have the knowledge and how to do her own electronics and welding and wood chopping and chainsawing and basically a practical life. Like, if the whole world computers go down, she can go and chop wood. She can grow her food. She knows what to do. She can save seeds and things like that.
So actually quite a lot of kids are used to the idea that their family grow food in some form. They might not do it on a small scale, but you know, they might be growing 300 acres of potatoes. But they have a connection to food in some way. So there is that. So she's different, but not that different. If she was, you know, if she was going to a school in a very urban area, it would be more noticeable probably.
You made me hurt myself.
At the moment, carbon is the big topic, but extraction, consumerism, you know, deforestation is probably our biggest problem right now. Every day, thousands of square acres of rainforest are disappearing, and it's not only habitat, you know, it's providing us with oxygen.
Taking in all the carbon.
And taking in carbon, and we're cutting it down. So a very significant impact, and that's not just because there's lots of people. It's because the rich half of us are using too much stuff.